There's no denying that Skidoo has been first to market with some pretty impressive pieces of technology and that it's been going on for decades. Looking back even 20 years ago, they brought us things like RER reverse, adjustable air suspension, and rider forward ergonomics. Some of these things literally revolutionized the industry and sent their competition into a tailspin. Some of them were simply innovative technology we've never seen before that made the riding experience better. Still others were focused on safety and security beyond a level the industry had ever seen, like DESS. Before DESS, every snowmobile simply had a key. In some cases, a manufacturer might have only had 4 or 5 keys in their entire lineup. This meant that if a thief could buy all these keys, they could simply start up your sled and drive away. DESS changed that. Not only was it digitally encoded, but it did away with the key altogether, utilizing the tether instead. Essentially, if you didn't have the correctly encoded tether, the sled wouldn't run, period. After using DESS for decades, I can honestly say I feel much safer walking away from my sled or leaving it in the trailer overnight. Snowmobiling is supposed to be fun and enjoyable. Removing any potential to worry makes the overall experience better. Of course, if we jump farther forward in time, we come to one of the most innovative pieces of technology the industry has ever seen, something most people had never even considered. Shot electric start is the next evolution in electric starting and was initially targeted only at mountain riders who shut off and restart their engine dozens of times every day. It was quickly realized that even off-trail crossover riders could benefit from it, so it was added to the backcountry lineup as well. The idea behind Shot was simple. If there was a way to save all the energy a rider uses pull starting their sled dozens of times a day, he or she could ride harder, longer. But it only made sense if there were no compromises, most importantly when it comes to weight. Now, I get to ride in the mountains a few times every year, so I am by no means acclimated to higher altitudes. In fact, riding aggressively in the mountains absolutely kicks my butt. But when I'm on a Shot-equipped Skidoo, I have noticeably more energy throughout the day. Energy I would have used up pull starting that sled over and over. Now, of course, we can't talk about Skidoo's technological contributions to the snowmobile industry without mentioning the very first factory-produced two-stroke turbo. This wasn't big news, it was huge news. The way the 850 turbo engine package was designed to automatically adjust the wastegate as altitude changed was ingenious to say the least. But the 850 turbo isn't just technology for the sake of bragging rights. It offers real-world benefits to high-altitude riders. The turbo maintains sea-level horsepower all the way to 8,000 feet. Even at 10,000 feet, an 850 turbo-equipped Summit is making considerably more horsepower than a non-turbo. For people like me who rely heavily on track speed versus expert technique to keep moving in deep snow, this extra horsepower is a godsend. But when you look at what it's allowed pro-level riders to do, things they've never been able to do before, it becomes abundantly clear this is going to change mountain and off-trail riding forever. The most recent piece of technology Skidoo has developed and brought to market before anyone else is one that's targeted at riders exactly like me. Smart-Shox auto-adjusting suspension is something consumers have been asking for ever since similar technology appeared in the side-by-side industry years ago. I spent considerable time in side-by-sides with this type of technology, and there's no question in my mind it offers tangible benefits that not only make riding more fun, but safer as well. I've always believed that truly good technology should feel almost invisible on a snowmobile, and this perfectly describes Smart-Shox. With typical snowmobile suspension, I find myself constantly thinking about shock setup. How can I make it ride better? As conditions change, what changes do I need to make to maintain the best ride quality? Now I can forget about all of that. I simply select which suspension mode I need to be in depending on what type of riding I'm doing, and let the system take care of the rest. Of course, there are additional benefits to Smart-Shox as well. In my opinion, the most important one for both novice and experienced riders alike is that Smart-Shox helps keep the chassis flat in the corners. If you're a beginner, this adds an extra layer of confidence and control you can't get anywhere else. If you're a more experienced rider, you can push the sled harder in the corners knowing that it will stay flat with both skis on the ground. It's so effective that I noticed it right away and was immediately able to adjust how I ride to take full advantage of it. Whether you're riding easy or super hard, Smart-Shox is technology that's making your riding experience better in a tangible way. Clearly, Skidoo is not afraid to not just innovate, but push the boundaries of technology in the snowmobile industry. When I look back at where we've come from and then ponder where we might be going, it's hard to imagine what Skidoo might come up with next.